Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Antos, and today I'm really excited to show you a really cool product. It's a remote control wireless pan and tilt head, and it's more specifically it's called the 5-second head by Senna. The whole unit comes in this case, which for a pan and tilt head it's actually not that big. Now, before I start getting into the details of how this pan and tilt head works and all the setup and stuff, I just wanted to sort of quickly give you an overview of what this thing can do. So like I said, first thing, which is a really cool feature, is that it's wireless. So you can control the pan and tilt head wirelessly. But aside from just using it for live action purposes, you can also use it in a time-lapse mode. And it even has a really cool motion controlled mode, which will just literally allow you to record a camera move anywhere you want. You're gonna pan up and down, left and right, and you can record it, and then you can play back that camera move exactly each time. Anyways, let me open it up and show you guys how it looks. You can mount this different ways. You can put it on let's say a camera crane, which I tested this out on in Los Angeles on a few little projects. So I'll show you examples from that. Also, you can just put it on a tripod, for example, or even on a slider. I'm gonna put this right now just on a tripod, just to show you guys how it works. Let me just take this base plate off, and I'll just attach the pan and tilt head directly to the base plate. Alright, once we have that in there, just slide it on my tripod and lock it in place. So this is how it looks here. And now to mount the camera to it, you're going to use this little L bracket. Comes with a base plate, allows you to slide the camera back and forth. So I'm going to put on my camera up here, and you normally basically you attach it right here to the pan and tilt head. But before you do that, even though this camera is light, it's probably not that necessary. You do want to sort of balance the gimbal, the pan and tilt head a little bit. So what I mean by that is just you want to find the center of gravity here, and to do that you're using this little the blue adapter. And the reason for that is because this can work with bigger, heavier cameras other than just the DSLRs. But especially for that, so that you don't overwork the motors, you want to make sure that the center of gravity is the camera is basically positioned with the center of gravity on the motors. So that this way the motors don't have to work extra hard and don't overheat, and this way so you don't damage the motors. So that's where this thing comes in really handy. This little adapter allows you to to find the center of gravity for your camera. So I'll just slide it back because it's obviously too forward heavy. Now it's a little bit better. Maybe move it a bit forward. And there, I'm good. As you can see, it doesn't take that long to find the center of gravity for the camera on this axis. And now the only other thing you have to worry about is sort of how high the camera should be. So we'll put it horizontal like this, drop it. If it keeps on dropping to that position, then you just move it up. And again, you can just slide it back and forth here until the camera stays level. There, perfect. And what you do after that is you have little markings here. So you basically remember, how many it's in. I believe it's marked in millimeters. So you just kind of want to remember more or less this marking. And we'll take this off now. We can take out this adapter for balancing it. Put it back in the case. And the only thing you do now is when you put this back in, you kind of want to position it the same way as you had it before. So the lines line up. And that's it. You have the camera mounted. And once you have the camera on there, you can start operating it. So to control the whole thing, you're going to be using this this joystick. It has again little antenna up here, and it has built-in batteries. So as you can see, to start using this in live action mode, it's pretty straightforward. Like I said, just turn on the pan and tilt head and the remote, and it connects automatically for you, and that's pretty much it. Now you do have a few small functions. The main one being is just the head speed. So you have two control knobs actually. One is for the replay speed, and this one's for the real-time speed. Move it all the way to the right, it just moves at its fastest, which is like this. And I believe I have dampening on too, so at the beginning, as you see, kind of takes a little bit of time to get into the move. So I'll show you that in a second. Now if you move it to the to the left, then it's going to move slower, so you can do really precise camera movements. I had a chance to use the live action capabilities of this pen and tilt head and on a music video in Los Angeles. There I put it up on a crane. The cool thing about that is, you know, like I said, most cranes, you know, you would have to manually pen and tilt head the camera, but then, you know, the problem is if the crane is really high up there, it's just impossible for you to reach it. So that's where this comes in great. You can put it on any crane and you can remotely, you know, pen and tilt the camera. And again, I use my sort of do-it-yourself wireless video system. I just velcroed here on the bottom. And, you know, and all I really have to do is, you know, I had my monitor sort of attached to the tripod, or I could just be even holding the monitor in my hands. And I was just on the side, and allowed me to you know, control exactly where the camera was looking while somebody else was operating the crane. So here I'm just going to show you two different takes that I sort of intercut together.
Nigga, I'm so clutch. I come through to the city, I'm tryna get it, and I'm feeling like Diddy. So clutch. The whole week was so busy, needed a night out, and the homies all with me. So clutch. I come through to the city, I'm tryna get it, and I'm feeling like Diddy. So clutch. The whole week was so busy, needed a night out, and the homies all with me. Motherfucker, I'm so clutch. Riding around that black coupe, I don't watch her.
And now I'm going to show you the sort of longer sections of each of the takes without any color correction, etc. And as you can see, the pen and tilt head really allows me to move the camera, you know, really fast, you know, left and right, up and down, sort of reframe my shots, you know, and especially considering the fact that I wasn't operating the crane and I didn't really know where the crane was going to go up at any moment. I just sort of told the crane operator randomly to move the crane up and down, left and right, and then, you know, at the same time, in real time, I try to basically, you know, frame the shots nicely. Now the whole unit, what's cool about it is that everything's controlled from here, from this remote control, and it's very straightforward. So if you can see up here, the buttons are marked from 1 to 6, and the purpose for these buttons is to basically remember different positions of your pen and tilt head. Now, if you want to record, for example, your position of your pen and tilt head, pretty straightforward. Let's say this will be our position 1. All I do is I just press and hold the number 1 until it flashes. Let go of it, and there we have position number 1 saved. For example, I'll move the tilt, you know, the pen and tilt head now to another position, and I'll press, for example, 2, hold it. Same thing, buttons light up, leave it, and for example, then I'll change it where it's another position. Let's say this will be our position 3. I'll hold it, and like I said, you can do it all the way up to 6 different positions. So now that we have the different positions, you know, remembered, I can just move the, you know, pen and tilt head, and let's say I want to go back to position number 1. All I do is just press number 1. Like as you can see, it goes back there. Now let's say I want to go to position number 3 that I did. Press number 3. Goes there. The same thing for number 2, and so on, you know, all the way up to 6. Now the way, you know, how fast it's going to go from one position to the other, you can basically control that by using the replay speed knob. So the same way, all the way to the right is the fastest, all the way to the left is the slowest. And that's just pretty straightforward. Now these buttons also sort of have a double function. So as you can see up here on the top, it says memory presets, but on the bottom here it's the secondary option. So the first 2 buttons, number 1 and 2, are actually marked as the ramp. The ramping basically just allows you to sort of ease into the camera move. So as opposed to you moving the joystick and the camera right away, just jerking to, you know, starting to move, you can sort of, you know, make it gradually change. And I believe my remote right now actually died out of battery, simply because I haven't charged it. So to power, for example, the remote, I can now just take this little battery pack that it actually comes with, and you can use this to power both the remote or the pen and tilt head if you want to, or you can use any other 12-volt battery that just has the standard 3.5mm DC jack. So I'll just Velcro it anywhere up here, see on this side, and then just plug it in. And okay, now we have more power. And yeah, to control the ramp, you press the menu button, hold it, you'll see the buttons light up, and right now it's showing me that I'm on the first one, so it's basically this kind of a half ramp. If I press it, I can turn it off, so, and then I just press the menu button again to confirm it. And that's the really cool thing about this whole system, is that it's pretty straightforward. Like pretty much to use the secondary function of each button, all you do is you press the menu button and then you choose whatever function you want, and then menu again to confirm it. Pretty straightforward. You don't need to, really a complicated manual or anything like that. Like once you learn to use this, it's very easy. And now, for example, I turn off the ramp, so if I go to the right, for example, it's gonna go a lot faster. And same thing with the left. So if I just go, it does not basically gradually transition into a camera movement. Now if I hold, for example, the menu again, buttons light up, and let's say I go to number 2, press it, so now it's the full ramp, and press the menu again to confirm it. Now if I go, for example, all the way to the right, it's going to slowly start, ease into the move, and then it speeds up, as you can see. Same thing the other way. The other functions here, you have the tilt polarity and pan polarity on number 3 and 4. That just simply means that you can reverse, if you go to the right, for example, the tilt, the camera pan and tilted will go to the left, or vice versa. The same thing with the up and down. Next one is you have number 5 is a limit. Just simply means that you can limit set limits for how far you can move the pan and tilt head. And then the last one is time lapse. So to use the time lapse, pretty straightforward. Again, you just press the button and you press the time lapse. You see it's confirmed right now that it's on. Now to use the time lapse or the live motion control capabilities of this, you have to have the limit set in. Without it, doesn't work. And then again, just press menu to confirm it. So right now we're in time lapse mode. And the time lapse will work basically with your first 2 memory presets. So, you can preset those before you enter the time lapse mode. And then all you do is, for example, like right now I have my two first positions. So I'll just press 1 to go to the first position. And once I'm in the first position, all I have to do now is to press number 2. And once I press number 2, the camera actually starts moving now. Well, it's moving super slowly. Now to adjust the speed of it, you can just control this knob here again, the Ripley speed, so you can see if I move it all the way to the right, all 6 buttons light up. That means that's the fastest, and then I can decrease it, so from 1 to all the way to 6. Now, when you're all the way at 6, I believe it takes about 30 minutes, I believe, or 20 minutes to go from move the camera 90 degrees. So that's more or less how you can judge how long it's going to take for your camera to pan or tilt in either direction. And the time-lapse function just works with 2 presets. So you have the starting position and then the ending position. And that's it. You just leave it and you'll see the camera move on its own. So now I'm going to test out the time-lapse and the motion control capabilities of this pan and tilt head. And I'm here with Dave Dugdale in beautiful Denver, Colorado, where he's going to show me around some nice sights. And if you guys want to follow Dave, he's got a really cool website. It's learningdslrvideo.com. Hope I got that right. Also, Dave's got a really nice YouTube channel and all kinds of tutorials and basically anything filmmaking related. So to find him on YouTube, best probably to just look him up, Dave Dugdale. And anyways, yeah, like I said, we're gonna do some time-lapse shots and then one funny little motion control shot where we're gonna duplicate Dave, and there's gonna be a swarm of Daves. So as you can see, I just set up again the pan and tilt head on my tripod. Here's me sort of hand holding it, just sort of testing out the shot, like getting my framing. Once I settled on that, then I just put the tripod in the right position, chose the right lens, and then just set my first and second positions on my pan and tilt head just by pressing and holding the number 1 and then number 2 button. And once I had that, I just enabled the time-lapse function and just, start recording or start taking photos. This is how the final shot looks. And I also did some time-lapse in Utah, and here's one of the shots. And here's another shot I got in Utah. As you can see, both of the shots look pretty cool, and the camera move is pretty smooth. And here's one more shot from the desert in California at night. Another really cool feature, like I was mentioning before, is the fact that it's also a motion controlled, a pen and tilt head. What I mean by that is that you can record the camera movement, and then you can just have the pen and tilt head just replay the movement each time, identically. And again, to set that up is pretty straightforward. Now you have, I believe it's up to 30 seconds that you can, of recording time, which is pretty long for, like I said, usually you're not going to have a shot that's longer than 30 seconds. At least a special effects shot, which this is, probably what you'd be using this for. To activate that, again, it's pretty straightforward. Like I said, each button has a double function, and on the bottom it tells you the menu button also acts as a motion control. So all you do is you press and hold the menu button, and then you just move the joystick to the left, and you'll see it sort of flashing blue like this. And that means that it's armed and ready to start recording. To start recording the camera movement, you just start basically moving the joystick. So I'll just do a very simple camera move. I'll just go up, the other up, and then I'll go left, for example, right again, and then again up and down. And that'll be the end of my move. I'll press menu to confirm it. Now that I've recorded this move, like I said, the cool thing is, let's say if you want to do multiple takes of just your clean background plate, and let's say one take with your actors, and then maybe another take with special effects or something, then you can use this. Now to activate this now is pretty straightforward. All you do is you just press the menu button, and we'll just replay the camera move for you. So press this, and we'll go to starting position. It's going to wait a few seconds, and then it's going to start moving on its own again. Yeah, and after a few seconds it just starts moving on its own. As you can see, it just repeats exactly the same camera move that I did. And the cool thing is that you can just keep on replaying this camera move over and over, like I said, to get different takes that you need. The only thing I realize is that the second you turn off the remote or the pen and tilt head, basically the second you lose connection between these two, it wipes out your whatever it recorded. So you got to make sure that you don't turn those off. So that's the only thing to watch out for. But otherwise, pretty straightforward and easy to use. And again, I used that in Colorado with Dave Dugdale, which was pretty fun. Just got multiple takes of him, and sort of then allowed me to, even though I had a moving camera shot, allowed me to sort of put him back in the shot and make it look like there was multiple Daves. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Okay, go. Okay, so here's the first take, and while doing this, I was also recording the camera move, since Dave's walking dictated how fast I pan the camera. And yeah, climbing. And no. Okay, so here's another take where Dave is no longer walking, but he's already in his second position. Walking. And now, climbing. Alright, and your left. Beautiful. Okay. And I just sort of did a few more of these takes, and I did even got one shot here without anybody in the shot, just in case I wanted to, I don't know, make Dave's disappear. And here's how the final shot looks when I sort of put all those different takes together. As you can see, you can never have enough Dave Dugdales. So as you can see, the motion control capability of this is really cool, and it's definitely a feature that you will not find at this price range. And again, most pen and tilt heads don't even have that built into it. Now, it is not going to be as exact as, for example, those motion control systems that are like $20,000 or above. The reason is because it does not actually directly connect to your camera, meaning it does not sync exactly for which moment the camera captures the frames in comparison to the where it's pointing the camera. So that's the only difference. So sometimes when you do the different takes, depending on when you hit the record basically on your camera, you might see a slight little difference between one frame and the other, but they're so tiny usually, the differences, that especially if you're shooting on, like, let's say the Panasonic GH4 like I'm using up here. The cool thing is, shooting 4K, no problem. You can just zoom in a tiny bit and you can reframe the shot to make sure that the two takes align. But that's really the only difference. Otherwise, I found the motion control capability to be pretty reliable. So like I said, it records the move and plays back identically each time, which is pretty cool. And of course, you guys, we're gonna use it. you can have a lot more fun with it and do some really complicated moves than what I had a chance to do in Colorado with Dave Dugdale. Overall, I'm really happy with this system. Like I said, it's it's cool because it allows you to do the live action, but also time-lapse motion control. Everything's so self-contained. It is wireless. Runs off of batteries, which these batteries will last you around, I think, 2.5 hours. Again, you can very easily buy a 12-volt battery pack that you can take with you on location. Plug it in there, no problem. Keep on using it. Also, in case, let's say, one of these, either the pen and tilt head or the remote dies, the batteries inside it die, but you have still batteries in one of these units. For example, especially since you can put in the regular AA's into this pen and tilt head, you can then use those batteries to power both of these units, and then all you have to do then is actually use a cable. Now, like I said, I prefer to use a wireless, but it does, eat up the batteries faster. So, like I said, if you have to use the cable, then good thing about it is that it's just one cable. It's a very solidly built cable. It's not gonna sort of go loose on you, and has those standard sort of motion controlled plugs, so they lock in place. They're not gonna fall out, and it's like I said, so it's not the biggest hassle, but for sure if you don't have to use the cable, it's always more comfortable. The only really thing that I would say I can complain about is that it still does make a bit of noise, when you're using it. Not horrible, but it is, I've used some other pen and tilt heads before that are, twice as loud. But definitely if you're gonna, you'll be using it for audio work and you have, let's say, actors, performing dialogue close to the pen and tilt head, that might create some issues. But, from my experience, usually when I end up using a pen and tilt head, it's because it's up on a crane somewhere or doing time lapse and stuff. So audio is not an issue. Now another thing I did sometimes find is because to use this sort of the whole remote here, you have to be able to see which lights light up and what color they are sometimes. So because of that, using it in broad daylight, like when I was using it in Colorado, it was sometimes a bit of an issue. I had to put my hand over it to make sure I could see which lights were on. So that's the only thing that I wish maybe the lights were brighter, but then again, I don't know, it might probably eat up the batteries faster. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is you definitely want to in broad daylight you want to have some kind of a shade. Now it does actually come with a few little accessories. One of them is this little shade that you can again just velcro up here, and that actually does help a lot. And another thing that this does is that it allows you to plug it into here and into the 12-volt battery, or to this battery here. It has an extra plug on the side, and what this will actually do, you plug it in there, is that it's like a black light, so it will illuminate all of these lights for you when you're using this in the middle of the night, which is really handy. Like I said, when I was taking some time lapses out in the desert at night, having this little thing, it just really helps you, like I said, see everything at night without really creating, putting out so much light that you're affecting your scene. So that's a cool little extra accessory, and again, it's just Velcro, and this has already Velcro built all over it here, and the same thing with the pen and tilt head, so you can easily attach these extra batteries and accessories. It also comes with extra chargers, a little weight like this, actually two of these weights. So let's say if you have a camera that's really front heavy, then you can put this on the back of your camera here on the quick release plate, and sort of it allows you to easily balance the camera. So overall, I'm really happy with this pen and tilt head, and I would highly recommend it, especially for, like I said, for the price and all the functionality you get, but also considering just how small, light it is, and the fact that it packs all in this one little suitcase, which means most likely you're going to be able to take it with you on small little shoots where it's just you, for example. Anyways, if you guys are interested in getting this for yourself, then you can find all the information and the links of where to buy it and all that stuff on my website. That's tomantosfilms.com. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.